Naruto, 10 Worst Things About Sasuke and Sakura's Relationship. By the time of Boruto, Sasuke and Sakura are a loving married couple, but their checkered history included some troubling low points. Sakura harbors a crush on Sasuke before the two of them even graduate from the academy and end up on the same team. He's always at the forefront of her thoughts and actions, and the two of them do end up getting married and starting a family of their own in the end. On paper, their romance seems relatively dreamlike. However, that's not the full story of the ups and downs of their relationship. Sasuke initially doesn't care enough to give Sakura the time of day. And there are even multiple instances where he seems indifferent to her life being in danger, or actively endangers it himself. Sakura's unhealthy obsession with Sasuke also stunts her growth in other ways. 10. Even after starting a family, Sasuke is a largely absent father who can't connect with his daughter. There's a long period of time between the original series and Shippuden where Sasuke is absent after he turned his back on the Leaf to instead seek revenge. He eventually does come back and start a life with Sakura, but even then he's absent most of the time. While this is due to being sent out on missions and he doesn't have much of a choice. He fails to properly connect with his daughter Sarada when he does get to spend time with her. He's so bad on this front that he actually ends up getting scolded by his old squad leader, Kakashi. 9. Sakura ignores Naruto and treats him like garbage because of her initial infatuation. It's one thing to have a crush on someone and to value their opinion more than anyone else's. It's another thing when this infatuation causes someone to treat others around them poorly, especially when their crush doesn't even want to give them the time of day. In the beginning, Naruto continually makes efforts to connect with Sakura and get to know her better. She not only brushes him off but straight up calls him annoying and tells him to get lost, simply because he's not the object of her romantic affection. Instead of making any attempt to bond with her teammate. 8. Sakura appears blind to much of Sasuke's suffering, instead focusing on her own feelings. Sakura values Sasuke above everything else in her life, and this remains true even after he defects from the Leaf. Despite this, though, it oftentimes feels as if she doesn't consider his feelings and struggles and instead remains much more focused on her own. In the beginning, she doesn't consider his feelings regarding his murdered family when talking down on Naruto, saying he's so undisciplined because he doesn't have parental guidance. She's also quick to say she'll help Sasuke with his path of revenge when he goes to leave the village, despite this being an incredibly destructive and harmful path. 7. Sakura throws away her best friend for Sasuke when he doesn't care at all about her. Back when Sakura was much younger, she completely lacked self-confidence and was a consistent target of bullying from other girls. It's Ino who stepped in, got the bullies to back off, and showed Sakura that she shouldn't hide her insecurities and instead have more confidence in herself. Sakura then decides to throw away their friendship simply because she hears that Ino also has a crush on Sasuke. She says it's for the sake of them becoming rivals, but they both would have been much stronger if they worked together rather than letting a guy split them apart, especially a guy who doesn't care for either of them. 6. For a long time, Sasuke shows no interest in her while both Naruto and Rock Lee do. Sakura stays completely devoted to Sasuke even though he betrays no romantic interest in her whatsoever. This might make sense if there were no one else who cared for Sakura and wanted her to be happy, but both Naruto and Rock Lee care immensely for her. Lee goes as far as to risk his own life for Sakura's sake in the Forest of Death. And the two of them bond, and Sakura goes to Lee's hospital room nearly every day to spend time with him after the tournament. Naruto consistently offers to spend time with Sakura and gives her positive attention. And she instead chooses to yearn after Sasuke, who's totally caught up with his curse mark and revenge business. 5. Sakura states she has no interests or hobbies that don't involve Sasuke. During the initial introduction that Kakashi has everyone participate in, the members of the newly formed Team 7 all go around stating a bit about themselves. Sasuke focuses on his future revenge, and though Naruto mostly talks about ramen, he at least also states his dream of becoming Hokage. Sakura, on the other hand, states that all of her likes and hobbies have to do with Sasuke. Because of this, she also declares that the thing she hates is Naruto. This is incredibly immature, and it's not a good foundation for any relationship if one's entire world revolves around the person they like and they don't have anything else to bring them happiness. 4. They don't put equal effort into their relationship after getting married. Sakura essentially gives up on her life as a shinobi in order to raise her and Sasuke's daughter while he's away. He's gone for so long on missions that Sakura admits that the main reason she keeps so many pictures of Sasuke is so she doesn't forget what he looks like, which is heartbreaking. Sasuke, on the other hand, doesn't make any effort to stop by and see his family while he's away for years at a time. He could at least send letters to get updates on how their daughter is doing, something he should care deeply about, but he never does. 3. Sakura plots to steal a kiss from Sasuke when he has no interest in her. After graduation, on the day when the teams are made up, Sakura asks Sasuke if she can sit by him. He completely and utterly ignores her. But this doesn't stop her from sitting beside him regardless. She states internally that she'll be stealing his first kiss today, which comes off incredibly creepy when he hasn't expressed any interest in her or desire to kiss her. It doesn't make her look like someone who actually cares about him when she's willing to try to get a kiss from him without his consent. 2. Sakura's self-confidence early on is completely reliant on Sasuke. Before the Chunin exams, Sakura asks Sasuke if he'd like to train with her. He coldly brushes her off and comments that when it comes to trying to push her plans onto others who aren't interested, she's just as bad as Naruto. This rejection completely crushes her self-confidence and she immediately agrees with him instead of standing up for herself. She stays in this funk until Sasuke later compliments her ability to see through Genjutsu, after which her self-confidence is immediately restored. It's incredibly unhealthy for her sense of self to hinge on how Sasuke treats her. 1. Sasuke almost successfully ended Sakura's life. If there's one thing that should have made Sakura realize Sasuke didn't care about her the way she cared about him, above all else, it's the moment he tries to kill her. Sakura goes after Sasuke declaring that she'll be the one to kill him herself after he becomes an international criminal, but she freezes in the moment. He then tries to kill her instead. He would have been successful in this endeavor, too, if Kakashi hadn't shown up just in time to deflect Sasuke's Chidori and save her. Her infatuation with him doesn't waver whatsoever after this, which feels incredibly off-putting after this vicious interaction.